Okay, let's dive right into the fascinating world of the blue star fern. If you've ever struggled to keep indoor ferns alive, well, get ready, because this specific plant is going to completely change how you think about fern care.
Look, if you're intimidated by those dramatic, moisture-loving houseplants, like the notoriously difficult maidenhair fern, this explainer is going to show you exactly how this totally unique, forgiving species breaks literally all the traditional rules. It's widely considered the easiest, bluest fern in the houseplant game, and today, we're going to figure out exactly why.
Here's our roadmap from beginner to expert. We'll start with the Blue Star secret, then look at perfect light and humidity, watering, feeding, and soil, pruning and propagation basics, solving common plant problems, and finally wrap up with some pro tips for fern mastery. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The Blue Star Secret, unlocking the 2 non-negotiables of plant care. So the absolutely crucial point to understand right out of the gate is that this plant has 2 non-negotiable biological needs, and they literally dictate every single aspect of its care. It all comes down to this one word: epiphyte. Because the blue star fern naturally grows on trees and rocks out in the wild, its fuzzy creeping rhizomes, those furry little stems you see at the base of the plant, they absolutely must stay exposed to the air. You cannot bury them in dirt.
And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates why so many people fail with this plant the second they bring it home. See, classic ferns require muddy, deep soil and constant heavy moisture right at the crown. But our blue star fern, it needs an airy, chunky, shallow environment where its roots are lightly moist, but those rhizomes stay completely dry. If you treat it like a classic maidenhair and bury those rhizomes in dense, wet soil, it's gonna rot. It's really that simple.
Moving on to Section 2, perfect light and humidity, bringing out the iconic blue foliage.
Now, you might actually be wondering, why is my blue star fern losing its famous blue color and turning flat green? Well, if you notice those fronds losing their gorgeous smoky blue-silver haze, and maybe the new fronds are coming in kind of long and flat, it almost always means your plant is sitting way too far from a window. That famous powdery blue tone only really shows up when the plant is getting proper light. When it comes to the air in your home, your target is between 50 and 70% humidity. To keep those fronds looking their absolute best with absolutely zero crisping around the edges, you really want to aim for this percentage. And while it definitely handles average indoor air way better than a lot of those thin-fronded ferns, hitting this sweet spot is super easy. Just run a room humidifier, group it with other ferns, or honestly, just pop it in a bright bathroom. What's super interesting here is that soft, bright, indirect light doesn't just preserve that blue color, it actually prevents the fronds from scorching or stretching out. An east-facing window is excellent, or maybe a north-facing window if it has a wide open view of the sky. You'll want to maintain comfortable indoor temperatures right around 60 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's about 16 to 27 degrees Celsius. And this is crucial. Keep it away from drafty windows, heating vents, or AC units that will just stubbornly dry those fronds out all day long.
All right, Section 3, watering, feeding, and soil. The chunky mix rule. So, remembering that it's an epiphyte, you must recreate its natural, tree-dwelling environment using a really chunky mix. We're talking 50% high-quality houseplant or cocoa mix, 25% fine orchid bark, and 25% perlite or pumice. This exact blend gives you moisture retention, amazing airflow, and just enough structure for the plant to truly thrive. Oh, and just remember to put this mix in a wide, shallow pot rather than a deep one. That lets those creeping rhizomes wander across the surface comfortably. For your watering routine, just follow these 3 simple steps to keep the roots lightly moist while making sure those rhizomes stay safe and dry on top. First, wait until the top 1 inch of the potting mix feels slightly dry to the touch. Second, pour your water right around the edges of the root zone. You really want to aim that watering can around the inner edge of the pot, actively avoiding soaking those fuzzy rhizomes. A little accidental splash isn't the end of the world, but repeated soaking, that's going to push them straight toward rot. And third, let that all excess water run out the drainage holes completely. Never, ever leave the root ball sitting in a saucer of water.
Section 4, pruning and propagation basics, multiplying your plant with ease.
When it comes to grooming, simply snip off any completely yellow or badly torn fronds right down at the base. But listen, whatever you do, step away from the cleaning sponge. Never wipe the leaves. Hard scrubbing will permanently rub off that beautiful waxy finish, and you'll turn a lovely smoky blue frond completely patchy green. Instead, just gently rinse any dust away with a little lukewarm water. Now, because this fern creeps rather than growing from a tight central crown, you can actually create brand new plants just by dividing it in the spring. It's such a simple process.
Just lift the plant and gently shake away the soil to expose those rhizomes. Then find the natural sections that already have roots and at least 2 to 3 healthy fronds. Cut them cleanly with a sharp knife or pruners and pop the new sections right into a fresh, airy mix. It is incredibly rewarding, and let me tell you, it is so much faster than trying to grow them from microscopic spores.
Section 5. Solving common plant problems. Reading the visual signs of stress.
Okay, first let's address the ultimate panic moment for pretty much every new fern owner. You flip a frond over and go, what on earth are these organized rows of brown dots under the leaves? Are they bugs? Guys, don't panic. These are called sori. They are perfectly normal, totally healthy, spore-producing structures that naturally appear on mature fronds. If they're neat, repeated, and dry, your fern is just simply doing what ferns do.
But what if your plant actually is stressed? Well, there are immediate visual cues you can look for to fix issues really easily. For example, brown crispy edges usually mean you need to bump up the humidity and stabilize your watering. Black mushy rhizomes, that means you've buried them and caused root rot. So get that plant repotted into a shallow, chunky mix immediately. Pale, faded green fronds mean it's literally asking to move closer to a bright window. And if you spot fine webbing, that's spider mites, usually caused by excessively dry indoor air. You can fix that by gently rinsing the fronds and applying some insecticidal soap.
Section 6. Pro Tips for Fern Mastery. The ultimate checklist for success.
All right, here is your ultimate cheat sheet. Keep those fuzzy rhizomes fully exposed above the soil. Seriously, if you remember only one thing from this entire explainer, remember that. Use a wide, shallow pot to let it crawl naturally. Water the root zone, specifically avoiding soaking the rhizomes. Provide bright, filtered light for maximum blueness. Feed it lightly, like half strength, only in the active spring and summer months. And finally, if the plant ever starts to decline, always inspect the root zone first, because problems almost always begin below the fronds. If you follow these rules, and remember to respect its epiphytic, air-loving nature, you are going to enjoy this relaxed, sculptural plant for years to come.
By learning to read this remarkable plant, you've really unlocked a whole new way of bringing the rainforest straight into your living room. You've stopped blindly following generic plant advice and started looking at how a plant naturally exists in the wild. So, armed with this brand new perspective, what wild environment will you master next?